And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Arnie's Pizza in downtown Rensselaer, where it's the Coach's Cage show every Wednesday night, starting at 5:45. This will be our last one of 2023. We're going to take a couple weeks off and then come back with you on the January 10th. So that's the way we set up. I'm Bob Kurtz along with Bill Kay and Scotty Miller running the board tonight. And we're leading off with Daniel Jakes from the North White Vikings, assistant coach. Daniel, good to see you. I know you've been battling the weather. How you doing so far?
We're doing better, doing a lot better. We're definitely on the mend, so we're getting there. It's good to be back in practice and back in school and get a little bit of a break now. So
Well, you missed a couple games you probably wanted to miss. The Vikes had a rough weekend, didn't they?
it was definitely rough. We've just kind of hit a spot where teams just kind of bully ball us, and we got to get over that kind of mentality. We got to start getting back to our spots. Teams pushing us off our lines. Just got to get stronger mentally and physically. So
Well, we were there Friday night for the Tri-County game. Just talk a little bit about that game.
yeah,
You saw it.
Yeah,
right?
I got to see a little bit of it. No, just so many missed chances at the rim. Tri County did a great job of getting us out of rhythm and making us really work for anything that we got, and it showed. They definitely held us under what we thought would what should have been a better performance from us, but all credit to Tri County. So.
Seemed like they kept Dane Hood really from where he wanted to go.
I mean, it seems like any team that is a little bit, at least a little physical with us, is just a mentality killer for us right now. And I think we really bounced back the last couple of days. We've had some really grueling practices, kind of trying to get some focus back to that before our holiday tournament. So. We're kind of looking forward to it. Get 5 days off here, so I think everybody could do for a little bit of a mental break.
Yeah, because Joe we had him up after the game. He was not very happy.
No, I don't think you can really be happy anytime you lose to a conference team that way. So hopefully moving forward, we're a little bit more focused, a little bit better prepared, and we'll go from there.
As coaches, as a staff, when you see that happening, couple games in a row, whatever, how do you get together and try to, is it just practice harder or what's the solution?
I think, well, we really rode their butts the past couple of days, and just kind of telling them it's not going to get any easier, and we can either decide to kind of put our tail between our legs and kind of go to the back of the cage, or step up and really take a bite of the apple, and we're really hoping that we get that bite coming back soon.
And then you played Twin Lakes Saturday night.
Yeah,
Same thing.
That Owsley that kid can shoot the ball, man. I think they ended up saying that he had 26 in the first half, and definitely, I mean, it's hard to beat any team when you let their best player have almost 30 in the first half. So, but
Big guy?
no,
Left-handed guard, right?
yeah, left-handed guard. Got a really pretty stroke. But
Ask the Bombers about him. He's the one that made the layup to win the game.
Oh, okay.
Twin Lakes last
Year,
championship
yeah,
game.
okay.
So
But
don't bring that up with Chad.
no, he's a really good player. He can shoot the ball, and I mean Ken just has a great program there over in Monticello. So
For sure.
Got a court named after him. So
yeah.
that's a
So
pretty good deal. All right. So what's up next?
next, we play Boone Grove on the 30th up in South Central. Really long team, really big team. But if we continue to practice like we did the past couple of days, I feel good about where we are, and hopefully get a championship before conference championship comes out, and then sectional. So just one more thing to work for.
And you probably good little break here. That's probably good for everybody, right?
Yeah. No, we definitely think everybody could use a break away, spend some time with family, and just get away from basketball for a couple of days.
You guys still got to probably be looking at that conference sectionals wide open.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We just got to take it one game at a time. I mean, you're not going to win conference next game, and they're not going to bring out the nets and tell you to cut them. So, I definitely think that we just got to slow down, get back to the way that we want to play, and I think we'll be okay.
Daniel, thanks for coming over. Appreciate it. And we're going to take a couple weeks off. Be back January 10th. So have a good holiday, and we'll see you next year.
All righty. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Daniel
Thanks,
Jakes
Coach.
from the North White Vikings, back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3KGthecage.com right after this.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online bill pay and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Joe Goodeman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodeman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
All right, we're back at Arnie's Pizza. It's the weekly Coach's Cage show with Bob Kurtz, Bill Kay, and Scotty Miller. And guess who's joining us now? One of our favorite coaches, Russ
Where is he?
Radke, who is riding high, man. 15-0, second-ranked Lady Bombers in the state of Indiana, Class 3A. Did you ever think this season was going to be going this good? You know, back in, say, the heat of June and July?
Well, first of all, when you said one of our favorite coaches, this guy's looking around like he didn't know who we're talking about. So I don't know what his problem is, but I know Santa Claus is pretty good. And him and I are going to have a conversation
Might be cold just
about
coming to
Bob
Remington,
Kurtz's
huh?
name on the naughty list.
I was expecting the present tonight.
Yeah,
but,
well, you just
expected
wait,
wrong.
buddy. Anyway, am I coming? I don't know.
You're sounding good to
All right.
hear. But
You know, to answer your question, this summer we knew we had some possibilities to do some things, but you never know. We're talking about 14, 15, 16, 18-year-old girls that sometimes they're in a good mood, sometimes they're in a bad mood, and sometimes they're with it, and there's a lot of things that go on with these young players and young girls, and they've really bought into it, and we saw a lot of great things this summer, played against a lot of great competition, so we knew we had the possibility was there, and we knew we could make a run at it here, and to finish off 2023 15-0 is pretty good, I would say. But to say that I'm surprised by it, not really, because I know what these girls can do. I'm with them a lot in the gym and see what they're capable of doing. So I'm just excited that everybody else is finally getting to see what I get to see every day, and what the time and effort they're putting into becoming one of the elite teams in the area, and not just in the area but in the state. I mean, they're really putting the work and effort into it.
You must have great leadership on the squad.
Yeah, they're the three seniors that we have with Sarah Kaufman and Cadence Mans and Bailey Radke have been around for a very long time. Obviously, when I first took the job here, Sarah and Cadence were still in middle school and actually in fifth grade, and Bailey coming over and they made a bond. They started playing AAU together. They played a lot of basketball. They were with each other a lot, became really good friends, and it's really helped the chemistry. And the other fact of it is the other girls, they all treat each other with respect. They all have humbleness about them. They all love being around each other. We went to breakfast this morning together as a team, and you wouldn't know that there was a difference in any of them because they were just all together having a good time. And so that leadership has been a huge factor for us, and I'm really pleased with the leadership of the three seniors.
You had 2 games in the 70s. The last 2 games you've had, your scoring this year has been tremendous.
Just to jump in here real quick, scoring average for the Bombers, 62.6 points per game, giving up 33.8. How about that?
Yeah, and the defensive average, I think we talked last time, is something the girls have set that goal of 35 or less. And so that's something they pride themselves on, and that's a goal they put up there for themselves. And then that 62, we'd like that to be higher. They have a goal of 70 or higher for themselves on every given night. And there's some times, when you have to score 70 points, you're clicking pretty good, and you're putting the ball in at a high rate of speed. And these past 2 games, especially last night, man, there was times in that game last night. I wish you guys could have been there to see how fast. I mean, we scored 27 points in the first quarter. 27 points.
That's an NBA total.
And the girls were flying. I was like, I didn't know they could move that fast. And the low people were even like, holy cow, I didn't know that girls can move as fast as what we were doing at times. And the girls were just really tuned in and focused on what had to be done last night. And like I said, there was times that it seemed like there was 8 or 9 girls on the floor for us, and really there was still 5, but they were just flying around quickly. So that average is something we want to bump up there, but it's something we're definitely capable of doing.
We'll go over the leading scores for both those games.
So against South Newton, leading scores for us was Van Meter had 16 in that game. Courtney Matthew came off the bench and had 15 for us. Roland had 10. Brody had 10. And then, Sarah Kaufman has 8. Drone 7. Cadence, I think everybody scored in that game, maybe except for Brooke Keipke and Jesse Fleming, but both of those two played really well too. So it was an overall great team effort to get that 76 points at home against South Newton and only giving up 13. So we really were pleased with the effort out of everybody on the bench and everybody starting the game and just finished off with a really good win there on home. And then we traveled to Lowell, and last night Lowell's, they're having a great season. They're winning games, and I believe they were like 8-3 or something, 8-4 at the time, and they had beaten KV earlier. They just had lost to Chesterton, a good Chesterton team, but they were putting some points up on the board. And so we came into the game just trying to keep our game plan in place and trying to play at a high rate of speed. And we had, like I said, we scored 27 points in that first quarter. And then it just kept getting better and better. And, leading the score for us last night was Taylor Van Meter with 20, and she was just she was all over the place. I mean, just blocking shots, running the floor, making passes. I mean, the kid just had a phenomenal game. She had 20 points. Cameron Rowland had 15, just doing the things that she normally does, just getting rebounds, making good decisions on passes, and just really playing well. Again, Courtney Matthews comes off the bench and has 13 for us, and then Drone has 13. Between the two of them, they both had 3 threes. We made 8 threes on the night. And then, we had Brody had 5 again. Kaufman only had 2 points, but I'm telling you, the kid was doing rebounding. She was passing. She was moving. She was playing really good defense for us. On their best player, the Summers girl from Lowell, Sarah shut her down, and that girl was averaging 14 points, and she only ended up with 2, 4, 6, 8 points. So Sarah did a heck of a job on her, and and everybody again contributed because everybody came off the bench, and we had some big shots by some players, and it was good. It was a good game to get under our belt before 2024 hits, and we ended up winning 76-29. A great effort. Again, I can't tell you how exciting it was, and again, these girls even surprised me last night with some of the things they're doing. It was like, oh, that was nice. Oh, okay. And then there was times it was like, well, we got to fix that, and we got to fix that. So there was a lot of great things I saw last night, but there's still a lot of things that we have to continue to get better at, and working towards the end of the season here in our last part of our schedule. We have to fine tune some things because we got some real battles coming up here that we have to continue to get better for and get ready for to get us ready for sectionals.
How do you find the time to give all these girls minutes?
Well, it helps out if the starters are doing their job, and every coach would tell you that. I mean, I'd love to get everybody in, but you're playing a varsity sport, and playing a varsity sport and trying to get people in is certain times dictates what's going on in the game, and that's my job as a head coach to manage that time management and playing and trying to find the right spots and put the kids in to make them successful. And sometimes it happens, and sometimes I screw up and make mistakes, and that's on me and not on the girls. But, if the starters are doing their job and playing as hard as they can, then we'll get them a few minutes break, and they can go back in and do it again. So it's that fine balance of trying to get your starters to really play as hard as they can, and then the others, when they do come in, that we don't miss a beat. That we don't drop down, that we keep up that high level and be able to keep doing what we're doing. So there's a fine balance there that I try to find.
Coach, I want to talk to you a little bit about what's coming ahead, what lays ahead for the Lady Bombers. And you mentioned that you got some challenges. The conference lays out, you've got 2 teams on top of the other division. Do you still play that crossover contest at the end of the year?
Oh, yeah, so what happens here is we still have to play. Of course, we're not looking past North White, so that's who our next game is going to be. So we're going to be focused on them. But then we have to play CC, and that's going to be a big conference game for us because what happens in our crossover is whoever wins the West Division has to play the East Division champion for the overall Hoosier Conference championship game that we play there. And to my knowledge, Rensselaer has never been in that situation to where we're going to play for a conference championship. And at least since I've been here for 8 years, we've played for second place before, but never gotten this high. So we have to take care of business again against North White, and then looking ahead to Lafayette Central Catholic, and then not too many days afterwards, we got to play West Lafayette at West Lafayette in a rematch of that IU's Hoops Classic championship game where we got them. So two strong opponents that we have to be prepared for.
And we'll have that Central Catholic double. It's a doubleheader, right?
Yeah,
right.
boy-girl doubleheader, yes.
We'll have that on 3KG for sure on Saturday the 6th, I think, of January.
Well, Western is on top of the East Division in the Hoosier Conference, and they're also in your sectional. Mm-hmm. They're also undefeated right now at 11-0.
Yeah.
What do you know about them?
So Coach Van Meter had a chance to go watch them against Twin Lakes. He went over and I sent him over there to watch them, and there's some things that we took away from that game that he's that we have, and some things that we're not going to divulge right now. But they're a good team. They're a veteran team. I mean, to be 11-0 is no easy task. So they're a very well coached team and a very aggressive team. We definitely have to be prepared for them come sectional time because whatever the draw might be, we're going to have to either go through them or to get where we want to be at some point maybe, and we'll just have to see how that all plays out. But to be 11-0 and with their schedule, they still have to play Hamilton Heights, I believe. So Hamilton Heights is on a roll as well. So the two of them
they're 12-2.
Yeah, they're 12-2, and so those two are going to have to figure it out in the East Division to see who's going to play what I'm going to call us in the West Division for that Hoosier Conference Championship.
Is that decided where it's going to be at?
Oh, that's already decided. It's going to be away.
They alternate every year, right?
Yeah. So last year it was at our gym. It was on the west side. This year everybody goes to the east side. So that's where it's going to be interesting to see whether we travel to Western or Hamilton Heights. So
Bob and I were talking a little bit beforehand here, wondering, does pressure build up on you guys, with an undefeated record?
Well, I mean,
as the games go one after the other. Obviously, it depends on who you're playing, but with that record, is that hanging over your head, or?
I mean, the girls, the school record is 20 wins, and that's a goal they had set for themselves is 20 wins, and that's something they're trying to do. So right now, that's just a goal for theirs, to do that, and you can go 25-0, you can go 23-0, 24-0, but what matters is when the sectional time comes around, everybody goes back to zero. And that's where we have to keep working at and keep telling the girls to stay hungry with it. And we're taking one game at a time. We're working hard in practice. Even right now, we're most people would say, Coach, give them a day off here. That we practice today, we'll practice tomorrow. Friday we will go down to watch IU women play. We'll take them down there as that's my Christmas present to them is to take them down there and let them watch an IU women's game, and then we'll come back and obviously
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they enjoy it. It's something that's kind of like a ritual type thing that we do, and every year we try to take a trip down to watch them. And I'm sure people would like us to go to watch Purdue games, but we go down there. The girls have a good time. It's a good atmosphere, and then we'll come back and give them a few days, obviously, for Christmas, and then we'll get right back at it on the 27th, and getting prepared for North White on the 4th, and we don't take too many breaks off.
JV Bombers, how are they doing?
Oh,
now?
man, I'll tell you, last night was awesome to watch. The girls, first half, I shouldn't say it was awesome to watch. First half was a struggle. I mean, we were down at one point by almost 11, 12, 13 points, and just struggling. Lowell was playing a 3-2 zone. We were just struggling with it, and came out the second half, and Olivia Kane just took over. She scored 20 points, I believe, in that second half, just put bringing along her Hope Hurley and Krista Johns, and then Cammie Davis and Addison Feldman and Liberty Bate. All of them just started working together even more, and Coach Van Meter gets the most out of them and does a great job with them with Coach Mans, and next thing you know, they're right back in it, and you just watch Lowell just deflate because these girls are going hard at it, and they just turned it on and started clicking, and so they end up winning 38-35 or something, 37-35 or something like that.
What's their record?
I think they are 11-3, 11-4, somewhere around there. A couple of those are just two quarters that you don't count with. So, but they're playing really well. Like I said, Olivia Kane had a great. I mean, she hit a half-court shot, three-quarter shot last night that was pretty awesome. So she played really well.
Do you, when you have practice, you go against each other, JV against
the
varsity?
Yeah, and sometimes with me in there. So yeah, we we all go back and forth with each other, and I try to give those JV girls that opportunity to go against the starters and vice versa, mixing around and try to mix things up so they all get a flavor of how to play with each other, because that's how we build that team camaraderie. That's how we build that team chemistry, and sometimes it works and sometimes looks real ugly and we have to readjust, but they all go hard. They all challenge each other, which makes it for a good practice when they can do that.
All right, Wes, we're going to let you go. Had a great first half for the Lady Bombers. Keep it up. Have a good holiday, and we'll see you on January 6th, all right?
All right, gentlemen. You guys have a blessed Christmas, and thank you for everything you guys have done, and we'll look forward to seeing what 2024 brings us.
All right. Wes Radke from the Rensselaer Central Bombers. Back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3KGTheCage.com after this.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark for the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
High-quality, personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117, or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
24/7 Club Fit is a 24-hour keycard accessed fitness center located in downtown Rensselaer. The 8,000 square foot facility offers free weights, weight machines, and a large variety of cardio equipment. We also offer free aerobics classes. 24/7 Club Fit offers 6-month contracts starting as low as $25 per month for students, those 55 years and older, and there are no sign-up or keycard fees. We also participate in the Silver Sneakers program. Call 219-866-0033 or contact us on Facebook. 24/7 Club Fit, where time is no excuse.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Cage, our final Coach's Cage of 2023, as the teams have reached their halfway point or maybe even a little beyond here, as, Rensselaer's played 15 games, so they only have, 8 left.
Mm-hmm.
Chris York has joined us now from the North Newton Lady Spartans. Chris, it's been a busy week for you. I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you talk about the game. How many games do we have to talk about since last Wednesday?
We have 3.
3?
3 to talk about.
Let's go back to the earliest one then.
Well, we're in the same boat that Coach Radke is. I mean, we're 4-11. We've got 15 games down, and 2
that means
more
you're not
this
going to
week.
be very busy in January then, are you?
No, we're not. Well, we'll start with last week, Thursday. We played DeMont Christian, and I went into that game, I think, with more optimism than maybe I had last year, because what I had seen on film and what I had seen in person, I thought that things were going to go better than what they actually did. And, what we saw in that game was an awful lot of what we saw last year where we got down immediately. Last year, I think our score was like 30-something to 4 at halftime. We weren't quite that bad, but it was a situation where they got up on us real big, like 11-1, I think. And we did come out of the first quarter only down 13-6, so that was good. I mean, they had that big rush on us, and we kind of held them back a little. And then at the end of the half, it was 24-10. So we were still in it, right? But they were doing things that we hadn't really seen. We not that we don't expect teams to press us, because we certainly do. But they hadn't been pressing teams that they had been playing. I mean, they didn't really press South Newton all that much. So they did that, and we got down. And one of the things that we're finding is that our third quarters are just god-awful. They're terrible. I joked with Coach Busboom that I said this actually on Monday night when we were at Winnemac. I told him, I said, I kind of considered staying out on the floor. And I'm only partially kidding, because our third quarters, if I go in and I say that we've played a good first half, we come out and we don't. And I've made that comment a bunch of times. The girls just kind of laugh at me, but, it's almost like I can't give any kind of compliment, because it winds up just backfiring. So in that quarter, we got down by a whole bunch. I mean, at the end of the third quarter, we were down 41-18. And in the next couple games, we'll talk about how we really didn't do anything. Against Faith Christian, against Boone Grove. Those are games in the third quarter. So we've got to figure out what in the world is going wrong in these third quarters. We draw a couple things up, and we come out, and we even try to come out a little early and say, come on, let's go out and do some pregame just to get moving again. And our third quarters have just been bad. So
you think it's mental?
I think a lot of what we have is mental. I think a lot of the issues across the board, it's just our mentality, it's attitude, it's all that kind of stuff, all kind of balled into one. And I've said before, when that changes, you'll see a different team. But until that changes, we'll see what we've been seeing. We wound up losing that game 59-22. McKenna had a lot of points. She had 18 points. She had, it looks like here, and I'm behind on this particular game. She had some steals. She had 4 blocks. She had, looks like, 4 rebounds. Summer Wynn had 2 points, but it looks like 12 rebounds. That seems to be what she does all the time. She just rips the ball down, and she's frustrated with their offense. She's not making more points, but we start calling her Dennis Rodman, honestly, because
that's a compliment.
It's a huge compliment. He's one of the best that there's ever been, and she just rips down all these rebounds, and she plays really good defense. But she's very frustrated that she's not hitting shots. But she hasn't played since middle school. You're not all of a sudden just going to pick up a ball and be a sharpshooter. Right. It's just not how it goes.
You say those numbers, and to me, what registered, you scored 22 points. McKenna scored 18.
Again.
You had 4 points between the rest of your team.
Yes, again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and in some cases,
you won't win a game when you do that.
We won't win.
You're
very
a miracle worker if you do.
Yeah, I mean, in some of those cases, it's not a lot of shots coming from someplace else, and that's just because we keep trying to feed. And you guys have seen it before, where there have been times that we've tried to feed it in, and it might not have been what we should have done, or at least maybe passed it someplace else, then in, or whatever. So we've had turnovers and trying to throw the ball in
because there's so many people around.
Exactly right.
Clogging up,
meaning somebody else is
basket.
Open.
Yeah.
And there have been also times where McKenna has found somebody, and we turn it over when she's found somebody else, or just all that kind of stuff. It's just how it goes with us right now. So there's that game. I'm trying to see if there's any more notable stats. Paige Culberth had a couple points, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds and a couple steals. Cheyenne Cahill had a couple of assists on not very many baskets. So there's that game. And on Saturday, we traveled to Covington, and it's another new gym for me in this new job. And I had never been to Covington, and it was a good trip. We had some people that were going to be leaving afterwards. Otherwise, we might have tried to make a little field trip out of it and maybe go to the beef house or something on the way back.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But instead, I had no problems with us stopping at McDonald's on the way home. They ask every game. This just happens to be right across from the building because I usually have an issue with stopping because it's just that much longer it's going to be for me to get home.
Right.
But we stopped. We have 6 people that got into the scoring in this particular game. This game, we started out really, really well in the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, we were up 14-4, and we're a team that hasn't been scoring a lot of points. The baskets that they had, admittedly, were defensive breakdowns. So they hit a couple easy shots or whatever. At halftime, it was 22-12, but it was much more lopsided than that going in. And then we had a third quarter. Where we wind up 24-21 because we scored 2 points in the third quarter. So that was a problem. And then in the fourth quarter, they got all the way back to tied at 34. Final score was 42-37. So we did kind of distance ourselves a little bit, but it was scary yet again. So even in the wins, you don't have any games where you can just kind of breathe.
Still made the coach sweat a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. And the way we finished it out and still winning and winning by 5 was big. There were free throws in the fourth quarter that we could have made that would have made it more comfortable. In that game, McKenna had 22 points. June Busboom had 6. Cheyenne had 6. Summer had 4. Paige had 2, and Macy Busboom had 2.
That's a little more.
That's a lot more. That's a lot better. Yes,
people.
Absolutely. We were 9 out of 16 from the free throw line, and a lot of those misses because we were going into the fourth quarter. We were 3 out of 4, so a lot of those misses came in the fourth quarter. Otherwise, it could have been a lot better. Other stats: Summer Wynn looks like she had 9. McKenna had 11. She had 3 steals. Cheyenne Cahill had 3 steals and 3 assists, and June Busboom had 2 assists. Paige Culbreth had 2 steals. That put us at 4-10, and I still maintain, and it's ridiculous to even say it, but we could have 6 wins. We could at that point we could have been 6-8, and that looks so much different than what our record is, but. You can't get them back, and all you can do is lament the fact that it just didn't go well. And before I talk about DeMock Christian's game, not DeMock Christian, but Winnemac, having these things, it's always nice because you can talk to other coaches. And here I am, a 4-11 coach, talking to a coach that's 15-0. When I talk to Coach Radke, and talking about some of the trials and tribulations that he kind of had about disgruntled players and things like that, and just things that he's worked through, and that teams when you're 4-11, those are some of the things that you kind of see sometimes, and just kind of seeing how he's worked through it to be where he is right now. So,
and this is his 8th year.
This is his 8th year,
yeah.
And this is my 2nd year, and we've still got some remnants of the way things were. That we're still trying to shake and everything else, and it's it's not 100%. What I want to be doing. So knowing as sitting and talking to Coach Radke, seeing that, and knowing how he's kind of turned the corner and changed things to what they are right now, which is so impressive. Mm-hmm. It's another one of the benefits to coming to these on Wednesdays. Get to talk to you guys about my team, but you also get to chew the fat with others in some similar situations, or like Coach Radke, someone who was there and is now kind of on top of the mountain. So, that's always a big thing. Appreciate that a lot. On Monday night, we started the tournament, the Indiana Kitchen Classic. We drew Winnemac, who might very well be the best team out of the 8 that's there. If it's not them, maybe it's, I thought it was Rossville, but maybe it's North Montgomery, maybe it's Pioneer, but we traveled to Winnemac, and we pretty much got steamrolled from the beginning. It was 18-6 after the first quarter, 34-10. We lost the game 58-19. They pressed us first half. We didn't have any answers for it. They were really pretty quick. We were turning, throwing. They were stealing. They made 8 3-pointers on the game. And they weren't 3-pointers that were banked in like at South Newton. These were nothing but the bottom of the net. There was just no doubt about it. They were just that good of shooters. And, Coach Stasiak's got something good going on over there right now because they lose a couple seniors, but there's some young girls that are there. And they really do a good job both offensively and defensively. We only had 3 players score in this game. We had Summer Wynn had 9 points, 6 rebounds, more incomplete stats, but 3 steals. McKenna had 6 points. She was pretty much locked down. We were facing a 1-3-1. They did a really good job with it. The offense that we normally like to run is a pass and cut through the lane, and there was no lane to cut through on a 1-3-1. So we were doing something else, and just they cracked down on her quite a bit. She didn't really get very many shots at all. But McKenna had 6, and Cheyenne Cahill had 4 points, and that's all she wrote. Cheyenne had 2 assists, so we were right back to not scoring. We were right back in the third quarter to, being down 34-10. We were down 51-14. Another third quarter where nothing's happening. So, these are things that have to be straightened out. We play Rossville. I thought that Rossville was going to beat North Montgomery because if you look at the schedule, they played Faith Christian the second game of the year, and Rossville beat Faith Christian 63-60. A high-scoring game, but they beat Faith Christian. They're pretty good. And I had seen North Montgomery on tape a lot, and I just thought that North Montgomery was going to win it. And I thought that Rossville was going to win that, but instead, we've got Rossville. I've heard about like 3 5'9" girls, and so we're going to have our work cut out for us. I've got tape from Coach Heimlich from when they played. I think Rossville beat North White by about 14 or 15. So we've got that game. And then
Friday?
That's Friday night. Friday night at 5 o'clock Central Time. And then
also at Winnemac?
No, this one's at Delphi. So we
oh.
travel to Delphi, and it's going to be real important for us to play well because if we lose, we've got to go back to Delphi for a 9 o'clock Central game. And same thing happened last year because of weather. We had to go to Frankfort on consecutive nights. But the second morning, we had just gotten home late, like at 9:30 or 10. We had an 8 o'clock Central start at Frankfort last year.
Oh, jeez.
That one everything was pushed up. But the teams that are in the losers bracket with us and Rossville are Frankfort and Taylor. So, depending on what we do on Friday night, we'll play one of those 2 teams on Saturday. And then it's time for some time off. I mean, we had that today. I was asked if we could have a mental health day. My logic was that yesterday would have been a better day for that right after the game, but there were some things going on. It was their last day of school, so, we let them take the day off and stuff, and I suppose I was a track coach for one day today. I went to track conditioning and then came here, but, we've got to hit it tomorrow. We'll have practice 9 to 11. We'll have our Christmas party, and then get on the bus on Friday and see how things go with Rossville.
What time you want Bill and I over for the party?
For tomorrow, 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Making jambalaya for the girls. That seems to be their favorite thing.
Oh, gee, you said
I
that
make
magic
that,
word to Scotty.
Yeah, I make that all the time. Recipe from New Orleans. But it's one of those things that I don't even like to eat anymore because every event, will you make jambalaya? Sure, I'll make it. That's fine. But yeah, it'll be time for some time off. I'll be taking my family to the Dells Monday through Thursday, and
it's cool.
It's time for everybody to just kind of, sit back and, be ready to go when we come back because we start with, that first week of January, Thursday, Friday conference games, home against Tri-County. They're good.
We'll be there.
On the way, on the road with West Central, they're good. So, just starting with those 2 games right out of the gates. And the games we have coming up, I mean, Tri-County, West Central, Rensselaer, just to name a few. And then we have North White, we have Frontier, and we've picked up a game with South Newton because we both needed to replace Donovan. So we'll be having a pink-out game on the 25th at South Newton. A Newton County, I guess, philanthropic event.
You want a little revenge on them, too.
I would like to play well against them. I don't want to use the word revenge, but I would like to play well against them because I don't think there's a single girl in our locker room that would say that we played well the night we played South Newton.
Well, we're going to take a couple weeks off, too, and enjoy your holidays, Coach. And,
yes, you too.
We'll see you on the 4th.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Chris York from the North Newton Lady Spartans has been our guest. Coach's Cage rolls on after this on 3KGTheCage.com.
Anders Water Conditioning in downtown Rensselaer is here for all of your water supplies and softening needs. At Anders, we sell and rent water softeners, water coolers, and have all of your bottled water and salt needs too. Call Chuck to set up your consultation today. 219-866-7430. Anders Water Conditioning. Family owned since 1991.
After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student-athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Every day you listen to the news, but how is that news affecting your financial world? Things like your retirement and your kids' college fund. You need someone who can help you work towards your goals. Someone to help you move forward in the times of change. Call Mindy Byer at Morgan Stanley. Mindy has 20 years of experience as a financial advisor, and she's right here in Northwest Indiana. To make an appointment with Mindy Byer, call 765-420-8433. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Reem Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan. Just ask. Give Reinforcements Design a call at 219-866-8626 for your next graphic design project.
All right, we're back at the Coach's Cage show and a little pre-holiday edition. And
I believe we're done. We're done for this year. We're done after tonight.
We're done after tonight. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. How about that?
Didn't take long, did it?
No. Christmas is upon us here, Robert. Bill Kay with Bob Kurtz, Scotty Miller, and now joined by Trent Fagley of the Frontier Falcons. Coach, how are the Falcons doing right now, and what do you got coming up?
We are continuing to learn. Like we've talked about several times, young group. Coming up here, we go to Couts the 28th of December. It's a tournament. It's Couts, us, Trinity at Green Lawn from South Bend area, and North Judson. So good competition. It's what we wanted. We wanted a tournament setting before we got into the sectional, kind of give us a little look. We're finally starting to find a rotation. We had the health issues, and then just being a new team and young and trying to figure out what we're going to do. We finally found a starting five we're rolling with. Now I've got my first couple guys off the bench, and then we're just plugging some holes from there. But, yeah, no, it's been nice. Going well right now.
So what games do we have to talk about then?
Since last time we played South Newton and Twin Lakes. South Newton game, we came out and really, really played a good basketball game. So we've had this discussion a bunch this week. And right now, with as young as we are and some of the things that we're trying to build as a program, building culture from the ground up, it's going to be difficult for us to compete in 3 and 2A games right now. And we know that, and that's all right. So the issue is we're young, inexperienced, and so those older teams, when you run up against the Twin Lakes, BC, seasoned teams, great youth programs, big, it's hard for us to handle right now. So what I've told them is we need to focus on the 1A basketball games. Those are the ones that we need to win. We are 2-0 against sectional opponents, 1-0 in the conference. That's the focus. And we use these other ones to make sure that we're going into them to execute and see what happens instead of going in there saying win at all costs, and if we don't, we're just deflated. That we just can't do that right now. In a rebuild, we have to make sure that we're going in there hoping to execute, taking with us what we can, and rolling into our 1A games to be competitive.
So you're being realistic. I like that.
We're being realistic. And that's the thing is the guys see through that stuff if you're lying to them, and saying, like, hey, we're going out there tonight. We're going to beat Twin Lakes by 30. Like, we have to be realistic. And it's not to say that they're so much better than us there's nothing we can do, but it's saying if we don't execute, we don't need to worry about what result we want. We need to execute, do what we need to do, be ready for the 1A games. So we beat Caston on the road. We talked about that. And then we got South Newton at home, played a very, very clean, good basketball game, 10 turnovers, out-rebounded them by 10 or 12, got some shots to go down.
That's a good recipe for
scored almost 70 points.
What was the final score?
68-34. So we came out and played really good defense and put a good game together. And then we played at the old Brookston gym last night.
Let's go with the leading scorers from the South Newton game.
South Newton game, Chase Winkler, freshman guard that we've talked about several times. Drew Turner as well got it going. And then, honestly, everybody else kind of sprinkled in from there. We had a lot of 6s, a lot of 8s. Jason Newton scored. Some of our young guys, Brady Greer had a couple buckets. Every single person that we dressed that night, all 12, got a bucket. So
wow, makes you happy.
It does. It was good. Everybody was excited on the bench. We took a big charge. That's something that we're really working on is we get in good position and then we want to reach our hands out or, we do little things like that.
A little bit.
Yeah, and so we took a big charge late in the game. So the guys are starting to see what plays generate energy. That's been fun.
Is that, it seems like basketball in general, from the pros on down, it's just, to me, an uneducated person, it seems like the charge is going away.
Yep, everybody wants to see the big block shot, meet people at the rim.
Refs don't want to call that anymore.
No,
is that true?
It's hard.
100%.
It's hard to call.
Yeah, and like you just mentioned, like you hear it, obviously at the NBA level, they talk about it all the time. They don't want to call charges. They want to get away from it because they think that's when people slide under the rim and they're getting injuries. They would rather you go straight up and meet at the rim than cut under somebody's legs.
But that was such a key component of defensive basketball.
It is, and that's the thing is high school I think is still really alive. It is something that we preach, and then like I said, we got one, and to see the energy spike and the person who took it was Drew Turner, jumped up in the air, the bench got going, like it sparks you.
So it takes guts to take a charge.
It does. It's not going to be an easy one. You're going to take a shoulder right in the chest, and you got to take it at the right time, and you do it too early, you flop, and it looks ridiculous. You do it too late, maybe it's a block. So there's an art to it for sure.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then next game?
Yeah, so we played at the old Brookston gym last night against Twin Lakes.
The old Brookston gym.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Is that pretty cool?
It was cool, yeah. They play one there every year. They played North White last year, and then we got another White County team this year.
How many does that hold?
Man, I don't even know. It was packed. I mean, it was.
Was it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was very, very packed. Also, where the concessions is, and there's no sidelines, and they had ropes out to hold that. So, I mean, it was fun. It was packed. Good atmosphere. They came out and kind of blitzed us right away, got up 10-0. Then we kind of fought it back, and we went into the half down 10. We went with some zone and mixed it up a little bit and kind of got them out of sorts for about, 6 or so minutes. Came out in the second half, got 4 consecutive stops, and then turned it over on 3 of them. And then we just couldn't get it back. Good basketball team. They're not going to make mistakes. Kent does a great job. There's not a lot you can do when they start rolling. They're so disciplined, it's hard to get it back. So they ended up burying us a little bit and ended up beating us 64-33. Again, we struggled to put it in the basket. Chase Winkler and Drew Turner scored a lot of points for us last night. We're just looking for somebody that's going to step up and help them out. We're doing some things right now schematically to help them out, putting the ball in the basket too. But they know they got to finish around the rim, and something we work on every day. But we're going to start slowly introducing some things that'll hopefully get them a little better looks.
That strategy that you talked about gunning for your victories on teams you can compete with, that's the beauty of the Midwest Conference.
Yep.
Everybody's got to go into that this year
100%.
thinking, I can win this thing.
Absolutely. I think it's wide open, and I think our guys understand that too. I mean, you're always going to have your favorites on paper. But, yeah, I mean, we have a lot of athletes. Like right now we might not be the most skilled basketball guys, but they're getting better every day, and we got a lot of athletes. So to think that we don't have a puncher's chance at this thing is crazy. So we're definitely excited about that. And like I said, we look at a record of 2-6 right now, wipe it away, and what's important? The sectional, 2-0. The conference, 1-0. Like, that's it. Like, just keep getting better. Don't let a game like last night, like we've talked about it before, if we're building one step every day, you can't let a loss to Twin Lakes knock you down 8 steps. Just one step, like, That's all right.
Sure.
We just got to shake it and move on. There's a lot of little things, a lot of stuff that we put on film that we can now look at and fix. But like I've made the joke to the guys several times. I'm like, that early start there is a blessing in disguise because we didn't have to look hard for our weaknesses. They were laid right in our lap. So, but yeah, I mean, I love the heavy start because if we'd have had this at the end, you get a little false confidence playing well, and then you get crushed right before the section. I would much rather opposite and have to build and take our beating early and then start to roll into the season.
So we're at the Christmas break now. What has pleased you about your team through the 8 games, and what do you really need work on?
Yeah, so pleasing-wise is every single coach shoots me a message after the game and says, those kids play hard, down 30, down 10, up 10, it doesn't matter. So I have a bunch of guys that will not give up. They play as hard as they possibly can, and the defense and attention to detail on defense is very good. Offensively, which obviously we saw coming a little bit with as much as they lost, they've never really had to be the guy. Offensively right now, we're just looking for some comfort that they can – it's more scheme-based stuff because I like to run stuff that is a lot of reads on my guards, and that's the style of basketball I grew up playing. So what I like to see is guards get downhill and make a play on the move. Right now, it's a little fast with the young guys, so I need to be better at pulling that back a little bit, giving them a little bit easier reads, or maybe an offense where they don't have to read 2 or 3 things. They just have one set read, and if it's there, do it. If not, swing the basketball. So I think taking what we do in practice and moving it over to the game has probably been the thing I've struggled with the most with them right now, is I'm disappointed in how we translate some things over sometimes. But, again, it's age. They'll figure it out.
JV, Falcons, how are they doing?
Yeah, so, again, like I've told you, I'm taking everybody from him, so he never knows really who he's got. We lost our point guard last night to 8 stitches.
Whoops.
Yeah, he went up for a rebound, got pulled backwards, and somebody landed on his head and bounced it off the ground.
Geez.
So he's split open, concussion, and a sling because he landed on his shoulder.
Oh,
so
man.
he got beat up a little bit, but they're doing everything we ask them to do. Their same record, 2-6. They play as hard as they can. Their scout team for us a lot, so they get a good looks during practice. But right now, same thing with them. The game needs to slow down a little bit because right now we put a lot on them as far as making up reads. But I keep telling them, stick with it, and by the end of the season and next year, you'll be glad we did, because I could put you in a robotic offense that up, down, side, up, but you're not learning anything, and that's not the culture I'm looking to build.
How's the you got a little bit of a layoff. How do you handle your practices and time off? And
yeah, it came at a perfect time for us because we get a 9-day break, and we're going to practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week because we're still in school all the way through Friday. I'm going to give them the weekend and Monday, obviously, and then we're going to practice until we go Thursday to play in the tournament. So, honestly, couldn't come at a better time to have 6 practices in a row without having to worry about a game. So it's been nice.
What do you hope to accomplish in January, February?
January, February is I mean, we play – January 12, 19, and 23 conference in a row. So like I told the guys, by the end of that 3-game stretch, we're 4 games into the conference, and we're going to see really where we're at and if we got a chance to win this thing or not. So honestly, goal number 1 is to have ourselves in a position to win the conference. That's what we'd love to do.
What do you think it'll take to win the conference?
I think it's going to take us playing very disciplined basketball on the offensive end, because defense I don't really need to worry about right now. They play hard enough and they understand it. We will need to put the ball in the basket at a better rate, and then we'll probably need to steal a game or 2 on the road.
You think the conference champ can get away with a couple losses this year? Maybe
1.
Maybe 1.
Yeah, I think your conference champ will probably be a 1-loss team if I had to guess. Faith is a very good basketball team. DeMont Christian's tough. Tri-County's tough. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there, but I would say I think your conference champ probably has 1 loss.
All right. Anything else? Trent, appreciate you coming in each week, and have a good holiday, and we'll see you on the 10th.
Yep,
Merry Christmas to the Falcons.
See ya.
All right. Trent Begley has been our guest. Back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3KGthecage.com right after this.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza, and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Midwest Contractor Services of Rensselaer, with over 15 years of experience, offers both insulation and gutter services for new construction and existing homes in Jasper, Newton, Lake, and Porter counties. You could save money and lower energy bills by adding more insulation to your house. New installation project? Let Midwest Contractor Services offer you a custom insulation package that fits your needs. Leaves in your gutter? Let us give you a price on leaf protection products that really work and are affordable. Call Marty or Mark at Midwest Contractor Services today at 219-866-0755 and get an estimate for your project.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Reem Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan. Just ask. Give Reinforcements Design a call at 219-866-8626 for your next graphic design project.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
All right, welcome back to Arnie's Pizza in Rensselaer, right across from St. Joseph's College. Bob Kurtz, Bill Kay, and Scotty Miller. One more time here in 2023, and we'll take a couple weeks off and come back with you on January the 10th. Brad Odom has stepped behind the microphone now from the West Central Trojans boys basketball team. Brad, good to see you. How you doing?
All right, guys. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
Well, you got 2 games to talk about. I'm going to throw it back to you for what, last Saturday first?
Last Friday night.
Last Friday night?
Yeah, last Friday night we played Washington Township. Once again, it seems like every first quarter we're looking for answers. We get off to a slow start, down 17-6, and then we put 2 really good quarters together. Down 1 by the end of the third. Have some crazy stuff kind of happen with about 4.5 minutes to go. I kind of lost focus and ended up getting beat by 13, 60-47.
I remember when we previewed them, you said they're probably pretty big.
Fast and aggressive. Yeah, they were really aggressive. They forced us into some early turnovers, just poor decisions. And then once we settled in, we did the same thing to them. You know, we went to a full court man-to-man. We got some steals and some leak-outs. And then it was 2 really odd quarters, the second and the third quarter. I have a kid, an inside kid, who scores virtually all of our points in the second quarter, where he has 13 of our 16. And then in the third quarter, Bryce Naniga takes over, and he scores 15 of our 19. But in the first and the fourth quarter, we didn't really get anything out of either one of them. So it was just an odd way the game kind of played out, because it was their pressure in the first, it was our pressure in the second and the third. And then it was back to a little bit of their pressure. And
Must be better to get the pressure in the first and fourth quarters. Then
it is, and some of that is, you know, we're learning. You know, we changed the lineup up a little bit. We brought up a freshman point guard, Brendan Grindstaff started for the first time, so he has to settle in a little bit. So as he gets more comfortable in that role, which he played really well in our next game, we're going to continue to grow and improve and get better. But right now we're struggling with 1-3-1 pressure, with 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure, and we just have to get a little bit more confident in how we read it and how we attack it. We're really passive in it, and we want our kids to go, and we want them to attack, and that just takes time. When you're trying to get comfortable in things that maybe you haven't done in the past, you just keep building on it and tell them that you make your reads and you go.
How's your rebounding doing as a team?
It's a team effort. We don't have one guy that really cleans everything up for us. When I was looking at it earlier, I think Bryce leads us in rebounding. Bryce Naniga averages 6. Connor Marlatte's 4.5. Christian Hughes is 4.5. Connor Schleeman's 4. So, it's not one kid that gets to the glass really well, other than if you're looking at Bryce and Connor Marlatte getting to the offensive rebounds pretty well. But, bottom line, we've got to be able to get more stops so we can get out and do the things that we want to do, and we're struggling with that at times.
So who played well for you Friday night?
Friday night, Bryce Naniga had 15, Christian Hughes had 15, and Connor Schleeman had 10. So those are our 3 inside guys that we thought going into the game that we could have an advantage on the inside. We just turned the ball over too many times. I think we had 26 turnovers, and a lot of those turnovers led to easy baskets. So if we can get those things figured out, where you have to go against our defense where it's set, we're going to be a lot more successful.
And last night,
on Monday night, we went to Faith Christian.
A Monday night game. You don't like those.
No, I do not. We talked about that. I'm not a big fan of Monday night, but they had a kid that went on for 34.
Whoa.
He's a big kid. He's 6'4", 6'5". He's built like a tight end. He plays like a tight end. But he virtually hit everything. He dominated the game inside and out. He hit 5 threes. He scored 7 times inside. We had no answer.
You don't have anybody physically match up with that.
I don't. And he had his way with us inside, whether he cleared us out on the drive with a hip check or a shoulder, or he did a good job of spinning inside, and we just couldn't stop not only his athleticism but his strength. So they also ran a 1-3-1, which puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage.
So you're going to see that all the time now.
Well, I hope not. But, so if anybody's out there listening, let's not do that. But we improved as the game went on. My freshman point guard had 5 threes. So
he's just a darn good shooter.
He was ultra aggressive at times. Connor Marlatte hit a couple of nice jump shots as well. So, that was a game where maybe we build off of that confidence, knowing that when I can step into one, I can shoot it and know that I can knock that shot down. We hit 9 threes as a team, but you look in the book though, we only scored six baskets inside.
Ooh.
And that's a game changer. They had 17 in the paint, and we had 6, and that's typically where we do a lot of our work. And we couldn't get the ball in there at all. So we were a little too much perimeter oriented in that game, and we've got to find a way to be able to still attack. Whether we're at a little bit of a disadvantage or not. But we didn't get anything from our inside guys. We got 4 free throws from Christian Hughes. My other big man, he didn't score. So if we can find a way to get both parts moving at the same time, if our perimeter game is gonna show up like that, and our inside game has been somewhat consistent, maybe we'll put this thing together.
When you get a big guy like that that's really dominating, what do you do? Do you front him, or how do you double team him? Or?
Well, he had 5 threes, so he just rose up and shot right over our guards, and none of them were cheap. He wasn't near the line. He was 2-3 steps behind it sometimes. So they hit 9 threes as well. And it's like, okay, so if we're picking our poison and we're wanting him to play from the perimeter and he's knocking it down, then you got to man him. So we man him late, and then he just goes to the basket. So, we don't have that guy in the program right now. We're going to continue to get stronger every day and try to build those guys for the future to where we'd be able to body and bang with somebody who's, he's built like a 3A, 4A kid. You don't see a whole lot of bodies like that in the 1A game.
You haven't played very many games yet, but we're at the end of 2023 so far. What have you liked What do you need improvement on?
I mean, our biggest improvement's got to come on the defensive end. You know, we've got to make sure that we are keeping teams from getting easy looks. You know, and some of that is because we turn it over into scores, and you can't really defend those. But whether we've been in a 2-3, we've had some trouble in rotations, giving up 2-footers in it. We've had some trouble with our man, and that takes time. You know, but we've got to find ways to keep teams on the perimeter and contest things a little bit better than we have. And then offensively, you know, I like how we had some kids step up and make some shots. We're understanding how to get the ball inside a little more effectively. You know, take out the Faith Christian game because that game's just played a completely different style. But I think our kids are building confidence. I mean, you look at our record and you might think, you know, that's not the case, but the record really doesn't mean anything to me at all. You know, we knew this was a process going in. We had a really good practice today. We had a really good practice yesterday after the Faith Christian game. And I think my kids are buying in, and they're practicing hard every day, and you can see the improvement, and that's what I ask for. You know, we've got a tournament coming up on the 30th at South Central. I think that's a team that's similar to us that we can be competitive with. And I told our kids we have to go in with the mindset that they won this thing last year. You know, we are the defending champs, and we need to come in with that kind of edge with our play on that day.
Who else is in that tournament?
So you have South Central, Boone Grove, and North White.
What do you want to accomplish January, February?
Well, our schedule sets up to where we're going to get multiple days of practice before the weekend because we go every Friday, every Saturday, back-to-back the entire month. So to me, you could put things in and be able to game plan a little more than what we have as we've been trying to learn and put things in that fit our guys. I mean, if you watch our game film, we do something new every day. And we're going to get to a point where we can start to fine-tune some of those things, and we're going to look completely different, I think, by the end of this next month. So we've got some things we've been working on that we haven't shown yet. As we're building into it, so some of the things we're doing that are really simple, as we've grown, now we can build and we can maybe have the secondary look off of it, or we can move a kid to a new spot. You know, we're trying to see where everybody fits in the puzzle. And we started Christian Hughes outside, and now he's back inside where he's a little more comfortable. And I think we're going to start to mesh and gel pretty quick.
JV Trojans, how are they doing?
So if you count the 2-quarter game, they would they would be 3-3. I would say that they're 2-3. I don't know if I count a 2-quarter game as a win or not, but and it's the same thing. You know, when they played really well, it's been when they've been ultra aggressive. They shoot the ball pretty well. We have a wing kid in Malachi Wireman that attacks. Zane Walsh come off our bench and knock down multiple shots lately. Hayden Johns has hit some shots for us, and we're going to continue to develop those kids and hope that we can speed up their process and get them ready to go for next year, as we'll lose 4 seniors and try to fill some roles.
We talked to Trent Fagley of Frontier about Midwest Conference. What's your perception of the conference? Is Faith Christian out and out favorite now at this point, or is it still too early to tell?
Well, I would say Tri-County has the size to be able to match up with them. You know, he's got multiple kids that are 6'2", that are physical, that can bang. But, I mean, going in there, that's a tough place to play. It's loud. It's a little intense. And I think, you know, if you can get them, if you can contain their big man and you can handle the ball a little bit better than what we did. You know, we played really well with them for 2 quarters. But, you know, their big man has 15 in the first, and he has 13 in the third. And we're not there offensively where we can play that style where we can knock down 20 to 25 points in a quarter. You know, if we can keep it in the teens in each quarter, that's where we're at right now. And maybe in the future we continue to grow and get there. But I would say, you know, I think Tri-County has some kids that will be able to, you know, continually rotate to him, maybe a little bit better than what we did. But Faith Christian's got some guys that can play. You know, their guards can handle it well. They're deep. I think he played 11 kids. So when
That
you
is
have
deep,
when you have that kind of depth, and you can continue to rotate kids out and space the floor, and then play around the Todd Hunter Dawson kid. I mean, they've got some guys.
All right, Brad, thanks for coming over. Appreciate it. We're going to take a couple of weeks off. Be back on the 10th. Happy holidays to you, and we'll see you next year, all right?
All right, same to you guys.
All right, Brad Odom from the West Central Trojans, back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com right after this.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals, increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
High-quality, personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
24/7 Club Fit is a 24-hour keycard accessed fitness center located in downtown Rensselaer. The 8,000 square foot facility offers free weights, weight machines, and a large variety of cardio equipment. We also offer free aerobics classes. 24/7 Club Fit offers 6-month contracts starting as low as $25 per month for students, those 55 years and older, and there are no sign-up or keycard fees. We also participate in the Silver Sneakers program. Call 219-866-0033 or contact us on Facebook. 24/7 Club Fit, where time is no excuse.
Welcome back to Arnie's Pizza in Rensselaer, where if this is Wednesday, it must be the Coach's Cage Show on 3kgthecage.com. I'm Bill Kay, joined by Bob Kurtz, Scotty Miller, and joining us now is Tri-County coach Ryan Harrington, who after us kind of a slow start for the Cavaliers, you got it moving in the right direction for sure.
Yeah.
How many games we got to talk about this week?
Well, you were at our game Friday, so we saw that, and so then we got the Traders Point game on Saturday. So
it was a good week for you guys.
Good weekend, yeah. 2 wins, so very exciting, and that's the thing. Like you said, we really turned it around there. It really came out. You guys saw Friday night. I think the energy was wonderful. The guys were so excited, and that was one of my biggest takeaways from the weekend was just the enthusiasm from the guys and how excited they were for their teammates succeeding. And
a lot of guys played well.
They did, and it's contagious, though. That's the thing. The guys on the bench are fired up. I think we talked about at the end of the game after North White that the JV came out on fire, and I think we just really fed off that energy, and it kind of propelled us through the weekend. And
it was JV played really well.
Yeah, they did. So it was a really exciting weekend, and a lot of great things, obviously, that came through. So.
Yeah, did you score? What did you score? The point totals, both games?
So 60 on Friday night, 72 on Saturday.
72.
We're getting up there.
On the rise. There you go.
Yeah, I told the guys after that's the most they've scored since I've been the head coach. So that was exciting. Now
it makes the game easier when you score points, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. It's a lot easier to coach a game when you're up by over 20. It's a lot less stressful. Saturday, I told the coaches before the game, it's a really tiny gym there at Traders Point, and I said, hey, make sure there's a seat for me because there's not much of a sideline. And I actually sat down for.
No way.
Yeah, I
never
sat
sat
down
down.
for probably 3/4
I
of the
need
game.
video proof of that.
It was pretty crazy, but yeah.
I was watching you that North White game. You were
I didn't
anything
sit
but
down.
sitting down.
Yes, you're right. Friday night I did not sit down, but
Jumping
thankfully-
around, man. You were into it. I
was
was enjoying your coaching style there Friday night.
Tell us who played well for you Friday night.
Friday night, we got a good mix in there. Speaking of Kobe Baylor was 16. Obviously he played good. Connor Ross, you guys mentioned it on the broadcast. I think you're right. Whenever you broadcast the game, Connor Ross has a good game.
He's a different person, yeah.
He is. So he scored 10. Great energy, obviously, and then Grayson Schneider with 11 off the bench for us. And
he was our player of the game, Grayson Schneider. I thought he was a difference maker.
He was huge. And then Riley Hughes also with 9. So really well-rounded. I believe Riley even had like 5 assists that night, if I remember correctly. So he did pretty good.
And you had a new player play.
We had Eric Zarzy back finally. So it's been waiting for that for a while. We hadn't seen him since the regular season last year. So pretty exciting to get him back. And he didn't do a ton Friday night, but when we talk about Saturday, he had a pretty good game Saturday. So that was nice. But
and again, he came out of Friday unscathed. Everything
unscathed, all good. He played about 12 minutes. So our athletic trainer had given him the green light. He said, I'm not holding him back, but at the same time, I know what he's done in practice, and he hadn't up to that point really done a full practice yet. So obviously we wanted to just be careful with his conditioning, because that's talking to the athletic trainer. He said, the only thing that could happen is, barring another just freak injury, is just overdoing it and getting tired and then it giving out. So we just played it precautious. But so far this week he's been able to get through every single practice. He's looking stronger and stronger. So that's really promising, because he's a difference maker as far as the communication and. Again, talking about that energy on the floor, I think you could just tell the kids feed off of him. Even in practice tonight, you can just tell how much he communicates, and it's one of those things. It's contagious. If you hear Eric screaming out all the assignments and where to be, it's kind of hard to not say something yourself. It kind of bleeds through to the other guys, and they really feed off that. So that's really beneficial for us. And I felt a lot calmer with him on the floor. His grandma was giving me a hard time after the game. She was saying how nervous she was at getting him back out there, and I said, well, I was the opposite. I felt a lot better when he was on the floor. So it was great seeing him back.
A little bit of a coach's extension there, part of some of the things you don't have to do now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got that with all these seniors. That's the really nice thing about it's only my second year as the varsity coach, but I've been in the program. Today we were doing a little scrimmaging, and I just wrote the guys' initials down on the board. I didn't even write out the play, and Kobe Baylor just said, "We're running this, aren't we?" I was like, "Yeah, that's what we're gonna run." I was like, "How'd you know?" He's like, "Well, I've had you for 3 years." So yeah, it's really nice. All those seniors, they really know what I want. A lot of times they can take the words out of my mouth. I'll go in the locker room at halftime. They're usually talking to the guys and kind of giving them similar feedback to what I would be giving them. So those things just make your job as a coach easier, especially some of the tough things. If a guy's not hustling back on defense or not doing the right rotations, if his teammate's getting on him, again, the coach is going to get on him. We get on him, but it's a little different when your own teammates are calling you out and being like, "Hey, where were you? Why aren't you where you need to be? Why aren't you faking passes and instead of just staring it down and throwing it?" So makes a huge difference when you have those players that hold each other accountable.
And Saturday, who played well for you Saturday?
So
How was the trip?
That was the trip. Yep. So south of Lebanon, just before Zionsville there. I mean, it's literally right off 65, so it wasn't that bad once we got down there. But obviously, it's quite the hike down there. But a really, really well-rounded game for us. We won 72-36, and I think for our guards, it was just
running clock. It was.
Well, there was a running clock. Yep. There at the end, there was. So they came out and they went a boxing one on Kobe Baylor. So that's something we hadn't seen yet this year, and I think our guards just kind of, got real excited. I would say Riley Hughes scored 16 points, Tyler Burns scored 15, Eric Zarzy scored 6 off the bench. But the real thing with those three is Riley Hughes had 5 assists, Tyler Burns had 6 assists.
Wow.
Eric Zarzi had 6 assists.
Oh, man.
So they were creating for each other, creating for their teammates. I had 11 guys in the book. 10 of them scored. I gave Nick Foster a hard time. He didn't get in until like 2 minutes left, but I'm like, come on, man, you got to score. You were the only guy that didn't get a bucket. But, funny thing is, too, he led the JV in scoring that night. So, but great team win. Again, we just fed off that energy from Friday night, and we did a great job of moving the basketball. And, again, just a different mix of guys scoring. We talked about how good Connor Ross played Friday night. Well, Saturday he only scored 2 points. So he didn't do a whole lot Saturday, but he didn't have to because I mentioned Riley Hughes, Tyler Burns, and Eric Zarzi, but even Ian Brooks had 6 points off the bench. Grayson Schneider added 7. Trey Foster buried a 3 in the corner. Drew Foster scored 4. So, just really well-rounded scoring for us. And
it's been a good ride back to Wilkes.
It was. That's what it was. That was one of the things that was said by the kids as we were walking out of the gym. They're like, man, can you imagine this bus ride if we just lost this game? So I was like, thankfully we don't have to imagine it. We get to just enjoy this ride home. And it was a little rainy all the way up 65, but we made it back all right. And, like I said, those long trips especially, it just feels a lot better after a win.
Sure.
Do you think this weekend is starting to turn your season around a little bit, going the upward trend?
I hope so. There's just been it's one of those things. Winning's important. It's not the only thing we're here to do. Obviously, there's a lot of life lessons that can be learned from basketball, a lot that can be taken away, and you hope you're impacting these kids' lives. But all those messages you send them and all the things you do are just so much easier, coming off a win like that. Yeah, especially when they're doing the things you ask them to do every single day in practice. You can pull up the tape on a big game like that and say, hey, look, you did the things we asked you to, and it paid off. So, yeah, it's just so nice, and I think it's one of those things that we've seen it this week in practice for sure. The kids have a different energy. They're really bought in. And some of those, drills that maybe they rolled their eyes at us a couple weeks ago, they're bought in and they're excited to do now. So it makes a huge difference.
You don't have much of a break before you play in a Hebron tournament on the 27th,
right?
Yeah.
So we get the rest of this week. Next Wednesday, then we'll go up. We play Hebron. It is the Hebron holiday tourney, but we do play Hebron that first game. That'll be 8 p.m. next Wednesday. So it'll be a tough task for us. I'm not sure. I think they're like 5-1 or something. They got a pretty good record, but more than anything, they've got really good height. They got several kids listed above 6'5". So as far as teams we've faced this year, I think they have the most height on paper. So
well, you're not small,
we're not small. No, we're as tall as we've been probably in a long time. So it's not too bad, but it's just. As far as this year, it's a unique challenge for us, just because, like I said, we've been the bigger team or been able to match the other team's size pretty well so far this season. So it'll be different, but it's always a great tournament up there, and Hebron always brings a really great crowd. They have a really cool gym.
So it's a 2-day tournament.
2-day tournament, yeah. So if we win, we'll play that next night. Late as well, 8 p.m., and then if we lose, we'll play early that next night. So
well, you're going to win. So
yeah, that's exactly. So
who are the other two teams?
The other two teams are South Bend Career and then Portage Christian.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
And you play Hebron, or
we play Hebron, correct? So
now you jumped out to a 1-0 start in the Midwest Conference, and then after that tourney, your first game back in January comes up against another conference squad.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. But how do you rate the conference right now and Cavs' chances and all that good stuff? Sounds like Faith Christian is one of the toughest teams.
They are. They got a senior class that I think everybody's known for a long time. They're really talented. They've got a group of kids that have been playing varsity for 4 years, and they're really good. They got a really good big kid on the inside, but they also have really talented guards, and 2 of their guards are twins, and they're the coach's son. So that just kind of gives you an idea.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're really skilled, really good shooters. They can hit it from anywhere, and that's an opponent we got to play on the road, and that's also a tough challenge just because they got a tiny gym. It's a little different. There's not much room on the sideline, but at the same time, we just played in a very similar environment down at Traders Point. So. We're used to it. We played there for the scrimmage, and we don't have to cross that bridge until February 16th. that's kind of our last conference opponent. But it's a well-rounded conference. The nice thing about having all these schools that are 1A, 2A, usually the competition is really good. Even the years that you've had the pretty easy outright favorites, there's always a game where if they don't show up that night, it's anybody's ball game. So the biggest thing for us, I've talked about it before, is we got to win those home ones. So the Mont Christian, that's one you got to win at home. We got to beat Frontier at home. We got to beat North Newton at home. And if you do that, then you're looking at the road games. At West Central, I know they're going to be a tough opponent. I feel like every time we go up to West Central, we definitely get one of their best shots. It's just one of those things. I can't think of a time where we've gone up to West Central and just been like, oh, this will be a cakewalk,
That's kind of a rivalry, isn't it?
It is. It is. I mean, all these schools.
It's not South Newton, but
it's not South Newton. But that's what I was going to say. At South Newton, I know their record's not great, but I mean, it's South Newton Tri-County. That's going to be a ball game. It just is. So you just kind of accept that going into it. It's going to be physical. It's going to be a tough dogfight, and. Well, Coach Monemeyer and me played against each other back in the day.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. So we know all about that stuff, and it's just one of those things. It's a great rivalry though, but it doesn't matter what the records are. You throw them out the window. It's a tough game. So and then we'll see going into the end. But I think there's a lot of good teams. Again, North Newton, Evan Gagnon's. He's scoring, according to Max Preps, he's averaging like 26 a game. So,
wow.
I mean,
we could tell you that if
players.
we ever had Coach Sam Zachary come like he used to. He's ghosted us out here this year.
Yeah. Well, again, I just know he's very talented, obviously, and that's one of those things where it'll be a challenge when we play them. Well, we get to play them at home this year, but we played them twice last year, and they beat us by 3 game. We beat them by 3 the next. So really, you look at it's literally split 50-50 between the two games. So
what's it going to take?
Be fired up.
What's it going to take to win a championship? One loss?
Probably. I mean, that's usually what it is. Usually one loss. If it's 2, you're probably having somebody share it. I would guess. But yeah, if you want to win it outright, it's probably 1. And I don't know. I mean. I wouldn't be surprised with some of these teams. I could easily see a team like Faith running the table. Like, there could be an undefeated one as well. I mean, they're that talented. It just depends on, at any given night. Again, they're a team that hits a lot of threes. If they aren't hitting in any given night, it could be an open game. But if they are, then, they're going to be a tough out. That was the first thing we noticed when we scrimmaged them. But if they're hitting their shots, they're going to be a really, really hard team to beat.
How's the JV Cavs doing?
They're doing really well. They had a big win on Friday night.
Jeez.
Yeah.
They put
64-8, I think it was, or something. I mean, it was.
All we heard was announcer Drew Foster.
Yeah, he had
Foster.
27 points. So that's pretty good for a JV game. And I mentioned obviously he did some scoring then for the varsity as well. And then Saturday night they only got to play 2 quarters, but I believe I think it was 27-4 or something. I mean, they dominated those 2 quarters too. So I was joking with Mr. LeBeau and our coaches because he was down there Saturday keeping our book for us. I was like, man, we got to make these JV boys run for every point they gave up. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They gave up 12 points this weekend.
Man, I know it.
No, again, they work really hard, and there are times where they really push our varsity too. So it's always great seeing them have those opportunities. And, if they're able to challenge our varsity, obviously, there's times where they're playing at that JV level. They're better than their competition. So we just want them to buy in and understand that, well, okay, we can get away with that against some of these teams, but again, we play some of these bigger teams on our schedule, like, Carroll. I mean, even at Seeger, Twin Lakes. So the JVs are a little different. They're a little more talented, and the things you can get away with against some of these other schools isn't going to work at that level. And just having them buy in and understand they have to do things the right way no matter what. And
sure.
Again, that's where sometimes it's hard if you're beating teams by a lot because they just want to be like, but coach, this is working, So that's sometimes the downside to big wins. But again, it's exciting when they're able to get rewarded for all their hard work and see the fruits of their labor paying off as well.
What's it like having a set of triplets in the program?
It's pretty awesome. There's a lot of
you ever get them
lot
mixed
of jokes.
up?
So I've been really good about it, but I honestly, this last month probably, I've mixed them up once or twice, and I've kicked myself for it because I'm usually pretty good with those three. Now, coaching track and cross country, I've had twins before, and I've had some twins that I couldn't even tell apart at different times. So these three triplet boys are the Fosters, Trey, Drew, and Nick. They're a great group, and all three of them have very unique personalities, so they're pretty easy to tell apart. Now, we get a lot of jokes in as far as, like, today at one point, Trey's going on a fast break. He jump stops, whips a bounce pass straight to Drew. Drew gets a wide open layup, and I'm just like, well, that's not fair. You can read each other's minds, just joking with them. But again, they're a great group, and they're a group of boys that just live in the gym. This summer, there's times where I had to look at them and say, okay, boys, it's time to go home. I got to go home too. We've been here for too long now. So it's kind of one of those nice things. It's a good problem to have because, I know there's times where you got to beg kids to come out, and they're a group you definitely don't have to beg to be there, and they just want to be good basketball players, and they've really bought into that. So.
It's an announcer's problem, too, and you guys won't let me just call him Foster. You have to say the first name.
Well, Trey's easy. He's number 3, so Trey makes it easy for you.
Yeah.
You see number 3, that's Trey. Yep. We just got to figure out Drew and Nick now. They're 21 and 23, so that one may be a little harder for you to differentiate.
Coach will take a couple weeks off and be back here on the 10th, but we'll see you on the 5th. Happy holidays.
Yeah,
happy
you guys as well. Thank you.
All right. Ryan Harrington has been our guest. Back with more of the Coach's Cage with Chad Pulver right after this.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark for the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student-athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Midwest Contractor Services of Rensselaer, with over 15 years of experience, offers both insulation and gutter services for new construction and existing homes in Jasper, Newton, Lake, and Porter counties. You could save money and lower energy bills by adding more insulation to your house. New insulation project? Let Midwest Contractor Services offer you a custom insulation package that fits your needs. Leaves in your gutter? Let us give you a price on leaf protection products that really work and are affordable. Call Marty or Mark at Midwest Contractor Services today at 219-866-0755 and get an estimate for your project.
Every day you listen to the news, but how is that news affecting your financial world? Things like your retirement and your kids' college fund. You need someone who can help you work towards your goals. Someone to help you move forward in the times of change. Call Mindy Byer at Morgan Stanley. Mindy has 20 years of experience as a financial advisor, and she's right here in Northwest Indiana. To make an appointment with Mindy Byer, call 765-420-8433. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Anders Water Conditioning in downtown Rensselaer is here for all of your water supplies and softening needs. At Anders, we sell and rent water softeners, water coolers, and have all of your bottled water and salt needs too. Call Chuck to set up your consultation today. 219-866-7430. Anders Water Conditioning, family owned since 1991.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Welcome back to the Coach's Cage Show. Ready to wrap things up. Kind of a short night. South Newton had to play tonight. North Newton had to play tonight. Billy Shepard was given a final exam tonight to his class, right? Is that what he said?
The Spartans had played tonight. I was giving Sam Zachary a hard time. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they won, so they play the winner's bracket.
Oh, okay. All right.
At the same thing that Chris is playing in, right? The Kitchen Classic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
so the
realize
Spartans
that.
are playing tonight. South Newton's playing on the road somewhere tonight.
It's kind of a, there's a lot of different
Billy-
things going on.
I never heard of a final at night, but I guess
Christmas
he gave
parties.
him the option. Christmas parties, yeah. So Chad Pulver's right here behind us and to join us. And Chad, you got one game to talk about? Is that it?
We played, because we met last Wednesday. So, we just played on Friday night. We played South Newton.
A good night for the Bombers.
We showed up. It was very nice. And so we had a pretty good, solid game, and were able to play some good defense and put the pressure on the Rebels in a way I don't think that they were quite prepared for, and capitalized on that pretty well, forcing them into some turnovers, forcing them into some bad shots, and then getting the rebounds, pushing the floor. And so that was good for us.
You need to bottle that up and play that way every game.
We are certainly trying to do that. We have, in the coming weeks, we have one in Boone Grove, and then we're hosting Lafayette Central Catholic just after the turn of the new year. And so those are both important games for us. One is to see if we can string together a couple wins back-to-back and do one on the road. And the other is our second Hoosier Conference game against a team that we haven't beaten in a long time. I think it goes back to the 90s since Rensselaer has beaten.
I know you
Lafayette
look
Central.
forward to those challenges.
Those
don't you?
are the games that kind of set the stage and they set the tone of the team. And so winning a game like that would be very important for us right now. We're 4-5 as a record, and
Kind of at the crossroads, aren't you?
we are, and I think that we've soldiered and weathered some of the injuries that have happened and different things that have gone on, and we're still hoping to get a couple more healing legs happening. But the reality is that we're trying to get together some consistency and trying to get the guys to see what needs to happen, be consistent with what we do on offense, be consistent with what we do on defense, and then that can translate into hopefully better and better competitiveness when we're in these games, and we want to turn those into very important wins. I mean, so Boone Grove, again, like I said, we're on the road, and then we go Lafayette Central Catholic, West Lafayette, Couts, North Judson. That is a gauntlet that happens for us, and so we have got to make sure that we're ready to play, because if we're not, that could be easily an 0-5 run right there, and that's pretty difficult to come back from.
Right.
South Newton was part of a boys-girls doubleheader. CC will also be one. 3KG will be there. That should be a great night at Joe Burvin. What do you think about those boys-girls doubleheaders?
I thought it was, honestly, I thought the South Newton evening was one of the best evenings that I've seen with the boys and girls. And that could be because we do our JV on Thursday night with South Newton, and so it's just varsity teams on that Friday. And so the fans stayed in the stands. I think they showed up early to watch the girls. The girls are very entertaining to watch. They're undefeated this season. They're playing very, very well. And so I think some of our fans that maybe wouldn't see much of a girls' game showed up in order to see that. And then I think some of their fans did stay to see us play. And then I think that it was nice. The next day we had some community service that we were doing in town, and the amount of people that stopped the boys and talked to the boys, or stopped me and talked to me about seeing us, and that was the first game we saw this season. It was nice to see you out there, and so that was I think a testament to those double headers can do some really good things.
Kind
It
of a
keeps
win-win
people in.
situation.
Yeah, I think with both schools wanting it to be there, it doesn't break apart. We have 3 different siblings that are on the team, so being able to have their families in one place at one time, I think is an important aspect of that.
Who played well for you against South Newton?
We had a few guys that played well for us. I thought Jack Chapman did a great job controlling the floor, not only defensively but offensively distributing the ball. We had Caden Rowland, who was able to get his nose on the ball. He had a number of steals, able to distribute well. Graham Drone hit a couple really big shots early in the game to kind of open it up. Corbin Matthew was up and down the floor, got a shot going a little bit. I think Chase Van Meter had a number of great assists, feeding Brian Camarina. Camarina scored very well on the inside, was very assertive once he got the ball into the post and went right through, sometimes double team, to get himself up into the glass. And so I think across the board, our guys played very well, and they looked like they were on the same page with each other, and I think that was fun for them. And so that's something that we're trying to recreate, or something we're trying to get through. We're finding that we can do a number of things well, and then it's the day in return or maybe the next rotation that may be difficult. And so we're trying to string together multiple practices where we are doing things well. We have a great day on Tuesday, and then Wednesday rolls around and it's subpar. And so we're trying to make sure that the attention to detail, the focus, and the energy is consistent. And then I think when that becomes consistent, then our execution will be better.
How are the Bombers' efforts on rebounding, specifically offensive rebounding?
I think at times it's great. And I think that when we go in with a concerted effort that we're going to dominate the glass, it shows. And I think those are the games where we come in and really control the pace. And then we've also had times where what I call baby birding the ball, which is just standing there and watching the ball bounce in the air. And so
I like that. That's a good one.
It just is. It's something that, again, we are hot and cold. And the Jekyll and Hyde of what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, even here on this show, it's very real for us. And I'm trying to figure out if we want more Jekyll or we want more Hyde. I mean, just tell me which one we need, and I'll work on making one or the other. But having both ends is not very good for us right now.
Is there any chance of your son joining the fray? It would be nice throwing a 6'7" body in there after the new year.
It would be great. I think that there's hope in there. There's optimism in there. He does have an appointment after the new year. He was able to put his crutch down today, so he officially was not on the crutch today. I did see him walking on the court without his brace. He has a brace mostly for protection, so if he gets bumped, that it doesn't do something to that tendon and that bone to break it again. And so he was able to walk. I saw him dribbling and walking at the same time. I've said before, keeping a 15-year-old from doing 15-year-old things is very difficult to do, but he's done well with it. We've got him into some rehab stuff, and so he's doing the assault bike, which is both legs and arms at the same time, and trying to get his cardiovascular system up and running. We're trying to work on that range of motion. So we're doing everything we can without putting him in the position of potentially re-breaking it or pulling that tendon away again. And so
who has the final say-so on when he can come back and play? Is it the doctor? Is it you? Is it the trainer?
Officially, it's the doctor has to give him a green light.
I see.
And then once he gets the green light, we have a very, very good he's the doc that worked with the Indianapolis Colts for 20 years. And so when you talk about guys who know athletes, he knows athletes. And so one of the things he will consistently say is, I will give you to this point, you have to listen to your body. Like, he's very strong about, if you're in sharp pains, that means you're probably not there. And the other part of it is you can work out, but then if it takes you 2 days to recover, you got to take your days to recover because your bone isn't ready, your tendon isn't ready. And so that's what he means by paying attention to the body. But we don't have a green light yet. So once that green light hits and we can start to do more things. Right now, for example, we're not doing any leg bends. Like him going down and doing pistol squats or even deep knee squats with both legs. I mean, we're not pushing that. Now, he has good range of motion. He can sit and pull his leg all the way back, and that tendon is staying in place. But, even if someone were to come and just poke their finger right where that tendon is, that doesn't feel good. And so there's still some healing that needs to take place.
I think Bill doesn't do pistol squats either, do you?
No. The last one I can. No.
No. So, how about Camarena? Is he 100% again?
He's back. He's back. I think he's still dealing with some of the soreness and some of the range of motion things. He's not quite getting off the floor like he was in the first couple weeks of the season, and so
trending upwards though, maybe.
Absolutely. Well, that's the hope. I mean,
Yeah.
he had a really nice night with South Newton. He was able to get up and down the floor. His defense, I thought, was a lot better. But I also know that when he fatigues, it goes in a hurry. That's one of the things with ankle injuries. I mean, Graham Drone started the season on an ankle injury for carrying over from football, and that's something that we're still handling with Graham, is trying to get that lift. And Graham's a jump shooter. He's outside. He wants to get that shot up, and so in a catch and shoot situation, you've got to be able to get your lift, and so that affects his ability to get the ball into the rim.
All right, you're 9 games in. Assess the 2023 part of the season. What do you like about it? What do you need improvement on?
What I like about it is that we're showing signs of where we can grow. I think I would be very nervous and very concerned if we didn't show any flashes of where we could grow, and we are showing that. We're showing some signs that the pressure that we can apply on defense will translate for us into some offense. That's been a really important aspect for us, and so I'm hoping to increase that polish on the defensive side, so that way we can turn that into better transition buckets or more quick buckets, or then the flip side, put the other team that we're playing against in a much more difficult situation. The things that I want to continue to work on is our movement is subpar at times, and I feel like we need to get better at reading when to cut hard and when we need to be patient. And I think what happens is our guys get a little overwhelmed and they start to shuffle. And so what we found is that on film, we're supposed to go from the wing to the top, but we don't sprint, we shuffle, because we're still kind of watching the ball. So am I really supposed to move or am I supposed to stay? And so they're not quite understanding the timing of things. And so
it makes it easier for the defense to guard you then,
the defense can stand and take little steps at a time and not have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
It's much different if they have to be in position and then anticipate they have to sprint too. And
Right.
so we talk a lot about trying to create separation, because you feed separation. So if we get a guy that's separated on offense, that's an easy pass. But if we never separate, that means someone like Jack Chapman is dribbling and dribbling and dribbling and dribbling, and that's exhausting. And so we want him to be able to distribute the ball, get rid of it, the ball comes back around, and Jack's really good on the drive. He can get downhill very quickly, but if he tries to always do it on the first touch, teams are ready for that. Yeah. They just stack up against him. The same thing with Corbin. If Corbin can't get rid of the ball and get it back, then what we're having is teams can play one-dimensional with us.
Is it a little bit of confidence? I mean, these guys are doing roles now that maybe Wietrich and Chapman handled so fantastically for you guys for 3+ years, and it seems like your guys now this year, all of a sudden everybody's got to kind of fill in maybe different roles.
I think they're all in very different roles, including Corbin, who's had a lot of varsity experience, but he was always able to rely on other guys to take other roles. And so this is the first time when he walks on the floor, he's got not only one set of eyes, but probably 2 or 3 sets of eyes, always knowing where he is. He's running into face guarding this year. They will just put someone on him, and he's not supposed to touch the ball. And so learning how to get through that. I mean, good players figure out, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do when they play this kind of defense. And so that's a learning process for him. And, I mean, we're trying to get him there, and he's adapting to what needs to happen. But it's the same thing with all the other guys. Jack is in a position where he has the keys to the offense. He is the main point guard. And so him finding his voice and finding where to move and finding how to direct the guys, that's a learning process for him. And it's the same across the board. You go to Graham Drone, you go to Chase Van Meter, like they're in new roles. They're being asked to do different things. And so we've still got to grow into those roles.
Seems like Drone, if you could come out and score, I mean, he's got the potential to really change your game up. If he comes out and hits 3 long ones in the first quarter, man, you guys are right there.
Yeah. And I think that's part of what has happened is we've had games where he's come in and hit a shot and the team relaxes and then we play. But when we miss the first shot, we tighten up, and then it makes it a very difficult evening. And so what we're trying to do is continue to increase our ability to put the ball in the hole. And so we're changing up how we're getting shots. We're changing up how often we're getting shots. We're changing the pace of how we get shots. And so when that happens, hopefully that translates into better opportunities when we have an open shot that we're knocking it down. One of the things that's demoralizing, not just for any team, our team, but for any team, is if you have a wide open opportunity and you don't make it. And then the other team can go, oh, I guess it's not a big deal that we left them open. And so we want the opposite, that if they fall asleep and we have, whether it's a 12-footer or a 20-footer or a 2-footer, we're able to put it in. And I think that's what we need.
Speaking of those 20-footers, rate your your perimeter game, your 3-point game so far this year.
Right now, it's terrible.
Is
yep.
it?
So it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. I mean, we are actively working on it. Traditionally, we have been a good 3-point shooting team, and so we know that it's in there, but we might have to do a little bit more mining, a little bit more digging to get it to come to the surface. We might need to do a little bit better work of preparing the guys, but I think we have the nuts and the bolts to make what we need out of it. I mean, I know I've said it before, but Graham Drone averaged over 40% from the 3-point line last year as a junior. So it's not like we don't have it in us, but we have to get it in time. We have to have people whose legs are ready, the shot is ready. And so just to fall back on what used to be isn't what it's about. It's about being able to do it now.
What are your expectations for January, February? What do you want to see happen?
Well, I'd like to see us win consistently is what I'd like to see. I think that we have very big games coming up in January. January is one of those make-or-break months. I mean, it's the middle. It's the heart of the season. That's what everyone looks at. But like I said, that gauntlet of Central Catholic, West Lafayette, Couts, North Judson, those 4 teams between the 12th and the 19th of January, that sets a tone for how well we're going to be, how strong we're going to be as a team. You know, if we're able to 4-0 would be fantastic. That'd be outrageously incredible. To split that. Okay, well, we're in the hunt. We know that we're on the right track. If we go 0-4, oh my goodness, like we're in some serious trouble. And then it turns to, are we competitive? Are we imploding? Are we just falling apart? We can't take the pressure. And so there's a lot that we're going to learn very quickly in these games, starting with the 27th on the road and then carrying them over into the next 5 games.
JV Bombers, how are they doing?
They had a good night on Friday night. They performed very well against South Newton. The guys have been up and down quite a bit. Twin Lakes and Hanover Central, both really tough games for them. Our JV guys, for the most part, are all first-year, 9th graders. You know, they're 14.
That's a big step up, isn't it?
It's a big step up. And for most of these guys, they're just hitting puberty. They haven't hit their growth spurt. They haven't started to put on, testosterone muscles yet. And so it's just trying to get them to that point to where they're not getting boxed around and bumped around so badly they're like, why am I doing this? So we're trying to get them through it at the same time, hoping that they learn to play at a better pace. And so, we have a couple guys in there that they have really good skill, but they're doing it at a much slower pace than what they need to be doing at the JV level. And so, today in practice, we had one of them who we were working on jump traps. And so the idea is that you got to jump trap and then you got to split is really what it is once your teammate's there, you got to leave. And they jump trapped, and he just stood there and watched it as he went by, and it was like he knew what he needed to do, but his body didn't respond. And so we've got to get that execution of the body has to follow. So that's what we're working a lot with the JV on.
Is it tough to get those guys up to speed where they do that stuff comes automatically?
Yes, it is. It is a difficult process, and it's not from lack of trying. I think that's one of the greatest things that we've seen this season on our JV squad is they're very coachable. They're very willing to try it. They're very willing to put themselves out there. It's just trying to get them to consistently do it, number one, but also when they get one repetition and then they've got to go against a varsity guy who is 3 years older and isn't going to let them do anything, it's now working them through the frustration of we have to still try. We have to still go with it. And the hope is that can carry over into a few more wins for them.
All right, Chad, we'll let you go. We're going to take a couple weeks off for the holidays, and we'll be back to see you on the 6th. We'll be back here on the 10th.
Okay.
So happy holidays to you, and we'll see you on the 6th.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good seeing you.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Chad Pulver has been our guest. Back to wrap things up on the Coach's Cage on 3KG The Cage right after this.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals, increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
All right, ready to wrap things up from Arnie's for 2023. We appreciate Beth and the gang here for taking care of the coaches and us, feeding us and giving us drinks throughout the whole year. Appreciate that very much. And till January 4th will be our next event here on 3KGthecage.com. Will be North Newton hosting Tri-County in girls basketball. I wish everybody a happy holiday season out there. Be safe, and we'll see you next year. For my partners, Scotty Miller and Bill K. Bob Kurtz. So long, everybody.
The proceeding was a presentation of 3KG Community Broadcasting.